Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Papaya Pod race review with Jimmy and Keith. I'm Jimmy,
I'm Keith.
and this is the Papaya Pod race review. Uh, Keith, how we doing, mate?
Hey, listen, I'm absolutely fantastic. Thank you. What a Sao Paulo Grand Prix have we got to talk about? It had me on the edge of my seats, and I've just been waiting for the podcast to share our thoughts.
I know, mate. If you had messaged me Sunday night and said, "Should we just record now?" I think I would have done. I mean, we only started this. This is the second one we've done, and the first one
Yeah,
was Mexico. The
yeah.
second one was the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. I mean, we couldn't have picked two better ones to get going, could we?
What a weekend of racing from FP1 right the way through to the final flag. The checkered flag went down. It was just phenomenal racing.
It really was. Obviously Lando was the massive winner. He was sort of on top throughout. Um, I mean, I made notes because he topped almost every single session.
Yeah,
FP1, obviously top. To be fair, Oscar was second.
yep.
Sprint quali, SQ1 he was top.
Hmm.
SQ2 he was second to blooming
Hmm.
Fernando Alonso of all people. Where did that come from, Fernando? And then the rest of the time he was top. The SQ3, the sprint, qualifying, etc., etc. It's what a
It was
weekend.
What a weekend. If you're a Papaya fan, then what a weekend for us that was. To take everything back, everything from that weekend went back to MTC, all the trophies. We just took the top line, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean Lando's got to be buzzing. I know he sort of said that we're jumping straight into the race here, but we got to talk about it all. But he sort of said after the race that it wasn't as comfortable as he would have liked.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
Obviously in Mexico he won by 30 seconds.
mm.
It looked fairly comfortable for him, didn't it? I thought. I mean,
I
this was a
thought he,
great race for him.
yeah, I thought he kind of looked very much in control. I know he
Yeah,
didn't have that big buffer that he maybe would have wanted, but he certainly looked like he was controlling his own pace and making sure that his tyres were on point. He could see what they were doing behind him. And obviously, he and Will were talking throughout it, and we know that, Will gives him the heads up, etc. But I think he looked, for me, from an onlooker, he looked like he controlled the pace from the get-go.
yeah, I agree. I'm not sure why. Maybe I think he's just trying to sort of stay level, isn't he? He's been accused of being too emotional at times, which I've never had an issue with. So maybe he's showing almost a little bit of sort of Oscar's mentality from when Oscar was winning before and stuff. And
I just think I like the new Lando. Even in an interview, he said, I'm ignoring the negativity and all the rubbish that people want to talk about.
I
I
love
just
that.
thought that was a boom. That was
I
for
love
all of,
that.
especially for you and I, Jimmy, when we were saying last week about the people going, oh, it's a conspiracy. We've had all the conspiracy theories going on and on and on. And he just kind of went, you know what? I don't care.
Yeah, I loved that. His interview he did was just phenomenal. And guys, that's a life lesson for everyone. Just don't care what other people think,
Just
whether
don't
you're an
care.
athlete or just and just someone like us, whatever. Just that's a life lesson for everyone. Don't care what other people think or say about you. It's irrelevant.
If you're doing the best that you can do and you're doing it with the best heart and purest you can be, just be you. Do you is what I would say. Do you?
That's what my missus always says. You do you. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, Oscar will be obviously extremely disappointed. There's no question about that.
Definitely frustrated. Definitely. Yeah.
Obviously, the title swing has swung massively now, the last 2 weeks.
You know,
Um, I mean,
difference one
after
week
F,
makes.
yeah, right. I mean, after FP1, he was second, and you thought, okay, I know it's
Yeah.
only free practice, I get that, but
Hmm.
you're on it for the sprint qualifying. He was fourth
Hmm.
again, not terrible by any stretch of the
Hmm.
imagination. Shout out to Kimi Antonelli, by the way. What an unbelievable weekend that kid had.
What a drive, and also our Ollie. Some of those overtakes that Ollie put in as well. So we'll come
Yeah,
back to
yeah,
them. But yeah,
yeah,
well
absolutely.
done to the youngsters.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't terrible, Oscar, this weekend. I know he had his incidents. Obviously, he spun out in the sprint,
Yeah. Yeah.
because, as Oscar fans will tell you, Lando Norris purposely went up on the curb and splashed water on the track because he
You
knew that
could
Oscar was going to take that line and skid out.
You're absolutely right. He knew that at 100 miles an hour, exactly where to put his rear tyre to flick the water up. So preempted. You
Yeah.
just knew he was going to do it.
I mean, Lando's even better driver than I thought, and I knew he was pretty good. So yeah, let's cut that nonsense out. And that Kimi Antonelli radio, Lando's just splashed water on the track. I don't think he was saying Lando's just splashed water on the track for others to crash. I think it was just to let everyone know that there's going to be a bit of water on the track.
And there is still water in the curbs.
Yeah,
It's kind of like, oh, Lando found it. But of
yeah.
course, when Lando hit it at full power, he managed to control it.
He
And
didn't move, did he?
others behind him, it was like dancing on ice.
Yeah. It is
Oh,
crazy the
gap seven.
difference. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that was a hell of a sort of three cars in the space of what, 10 seconds, if that, 5 seconds maybe.
And I could almost feel, Jim, I don't know about you, but I could almost feel the stake mechanics going, oh, we've just rebuilt that.
Yeah.
They just rebuilt that car. You know,
Um, I mean, to get that, I mean, they almost got that to qualify in that car.
what an effort. What an effort.
Yeah, shout out to those guys. You know, we don't
Yeah,
give the team, the mechanics and the
no.
team enough credit because they must have worked through the night every minute of every
Yeah.
hour to get
You
that
can
car
almost
back to
see
where it was.
no lunch, no dinner. They were just heads down and let's make this work and get it rebuilt. And as you said, even at the beginning of qualifying, they still had their hands inside the engine cover doing bits and
I
pieces.
mean, he was sat in the car for qualifying
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Saturday, ready to
yeah,
go out. Obviously, they didn't
yeah.
quite make it, unfortunately, but to even get that close is incredible. Seriously incredible. It was also great to hear he was okay because that was an awful crash, an
That was a
awful.
biggie, wasn't it? That was a bit of suck the air out of the room moment. It was a bit of a whoa, blimey, he spun that into there. That would have took the wind out of your sails, that one, definitely.
I sort of said it's one of those that, 15, 20 years ago, you're talking about a completely different outcome.
Yeah,
Um,
you definitely are. With the strength of the pod now and the way that they're building the cars, it is testament because as you said, 10, 15 years ago, we would have all been mourning, probably. Don't want to be, disrespectful, but there's a good possibility we'd have been saying goodbye to another driver,
yeah.
especially a youngster as well, which wouldn't have been good. So, well done to the teams for building such safe cars.
Yeah, and obviously I know Jackie Stewart's played a massive part in that over the years with the
Yes.
health and
Yeah.
safety and stuff. And that
Yeah.
goes to show you, because that was my initial thought was how the hell has he just walked out of that?
Yeah.
So yeah, unbelievable. Um, but yeah, going back to Oscar, I mean, he would be fuming that obviously he spun out in the sprint.
Mhm.
But it is just a sprint. There's a many more points to chase, don't get me wrong. It's still pushed Lando an extra 8 points ahead of him. I get that. But his mentality was very much, and you believe him as well. There's a race tomorrow, so let's get out of
Exactly that.
qualifying
Yeah.
and get onto the race. Um, he qualified fourth again, funnily enough.
Yep.
In
Hmm.
fact, no, sorry, for the sprint he was third. Tell a lie.
Yep.
He qualified third for the
He
sprint.
did.
My
Yep.
bad. And fourth for the race.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
Again, nothing to be ashamed of there, qualifying fourth. That's decent. You're in a pretty decent position. You're on the second row.
Hmm.
Second row. Yeah, and you can make a push for it, right? Let's for a minute talk about, by the way, going back to Lando, how consistent his starts have been.
Yeah, considering a few months ago, people were saying Lando can't start. Lando keeps bogging the car down. He has been lightning fast. His reactions have been incredible off the track. He has been there. And the restarts. Let's look at those restarts as well.
Yeah,
When behind the pace car, timing it just right and getting that nailed right at the right moment in time, trying to catch him asleep. His restarts, he starts. Yeah, he's been working on that. You can tell.
that was something that always worried you with Lando. We know he can crack out a pole time and
Yeah,
time again at
yeah,
most tracks, but the
yeah,
starts was always the worry.
yeah.
Um, yeah, shout out to him. And like you just said, the restarts after the safety car, he left that one late Sunday.
That was edging towards. I was like, when? Now? Come on.
Yeah, he left that very late. And, he did catch Kimi off guard,
He did.
which
He absolutely
ultimately,
did. Yeah.
affected Oscar's race. I mean, Oscar was sorry, Kimi was 1 minute he was comfortably second. Next thing he's got Oscar on the inside and Charles Leclerc on the outside.
Yeah, yeah.
Lando's gone. Lando doesn't care about any of them. He's off.
Lando's looking in the mirrors going, oh, hello, what's going on behind
This
me?
could be interesting. Um,
Yeah.
was the penalty justified in your opinion?
Oh, this is so. I've replayed it. I've rewatched it. Did he have his car up the inside? Was he at the mirror? Or did he just overbrake himself and lock it up? I'm going to go with, I think he locked it up. I think it was a ballsy move, but I don't think it was there. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think that move was there from the angle that he was. And then to then tap Kimi, and Kimi then takes Charles out, loses his tyre completely. It was like, ooh, oops. Would I have been complaining had it been somebody taking Oscar out? And I'm going to say from the bottom of my heart, I would have been screaming at the TV. So I think we've got to own this one. If I would have shouted for him, I've also got to accept that maybe that was a ballsy move that didn't quite work.
I'm with you. I'm with you. If the shoe was on the other foot, absolutely.
We'd have been shouting.
Yeah, I mean, had Charles Leclerc not had been wiped out and carried on racing, do you think they would have got the penalty, or do you think they would have just called it as a racing incident?
I think if Charles had managed to go wide, come back on the track, no incident, I think it would have been called a first, it would have been called a first lap racing incident.
Mm.
Everybody too eager to be in the same place. So, but I think the fact that it was a concertina of effects and it was not one car, it was two cars, and then one car couldn't then continue to race. It was kind of a little bit, yeah. It was I wouldn't have wanted to be a steward.
No, no. I mean, I don't know if you heard Charles Leclerc afterwards. He was obviously really frustrated, but he
Yeah.
said not all of the blame is on Oscar.
Yes, he
Um,
did. Yes, he
he
did. Yeah.
said, when you actually look at it, listen, I know those guys have a split second to react in those moments at the
Yeah.
speed they're going. We can watch it over and over again, and even two
Yeah.
days later, still be watching it and go, oh, actually, I can see that now. Of course you can. It's 48 hours later and you've seen it 100 times.
And you've calmed down. You're in a
Yeah,
different frame of mind.
exactly that. Yeah. And then what I mean, to be fair to Charles Leclerc, he left so much room. Kimi did not have to turn in like he did.
No, he didn't. No, to be totally honest, I do believe that Kimi actually played quite a big part in that as well. It wasn't just the Oscar move; it was then the overreaction as well, and it was just a snowball event. And poor Charles, I've got to say this one because I've got to keep him with the wife. Poor Charles then was the innocent one that got taken out. He was nothing to do with it and found himself out of the race. So.
So let's speak about Mrs. Muse, the Ferrari fan. I can imagine some of the words that left her mouth as it happened. Did
Yeah.
she, obviously, I guess she was punching you, blaming Oscar entirely.
I she had full blown Tourette's. She really did. Every other word would have needed bleeping out. She did blame Oscar. She also blamed Kimi. She just literally had the ump because she was like, "It's not fair. It's the first lap. He's not even got started yet." And I was like, "Calm down, dear." And she was like, "You wouldn't be saying that if it was Lando or Oscar." And I was like, "You're
She's got a
probably right,
point.
actually."
Yeah, she's got a point.
And then when
Um,
she lost, then when Lewis got tagged as well, she was like, "Oh, that's it. Pick on the red cars then."
It was just a terrible, terrible day at the office for Ferrari. I felt for Lewis. I felt for Charles because
Yeah,
he did absolutely
yeah.
nothing wrong, nothing
No,
at all
Charles
wrong.
did nothing. No, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
If anything, he went out of his way to try to avoid that happening. But I mean,
Yeah,
Lewis loves Brazil. He's a
yeah.
Brazil citizen.
He
Um,
is. Yeah.
and I just wanted him to have an all right race. Just finish the race at least.
I'm going to be honest, Jimmy. I'm not going to lie. I would have loved for Lewis to have got on the podium. I
Oh,
would have. I would have
100%.
absolutely been made up in life if we'd have seen Lando or Oscar and Lewis on that, or all three of those
Mm.
on that podium. It would have been fantastic. The only driver, I think, in a Ferrari engined car that did anything any good was it's got to be Ollie Behrman, because some of those overtakes and that guy has really grown in stature, and also confidence. This season we've seen a completely different Ollie Behrman. We really have.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. I mean,
Yeah.
the rookie of the year is going to be really tough to choose this year. Yeah,
Mm.
I'm
It's a
certainly
biggie,
not.
isn't it?
I
Yeah.
can't pick one, that's for sure. I love. I think they've all done great, but you look at what Hadjar's done. Um,
Exactly that. Exactly that. Yeah.
for me, he was the one up until a couple of weeks ago, and then you have to look at Ollie Behrman for what he's been doing. But then you do have to give Kimmy some praise as well because, all right, he's in the better car out of all of the rookies, but what he did Sunday and Saturday, for that matter, was phenomenal,
It,
absolutely
you know,
phenomenal, and Friday, of course, in the sprint quali.
It was absolutely phenomenal. And you can actually see how each one has grown in confidence coming towards the end of the season. We're coming to these last few races. You can see how their rookie careers have really changed and escalated. And they're becoming really competent. They already are, aren't they? They're already races, but that confidence and competence comes in, and you can see where they're placing the car. They're not being bullied, and they go, no, 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 this is my line. I'm keeping it.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. It is good to see they're not
Yeah.
messing about, and most of them have got seats next year, I believe.
Yes. And it makes it interesting racing for us, Jimmy, as well, doesn't it? Because they're mixing up the field. We're not seeing the same faces.
Yeah, exactly that. I think everyone's expecting Hadjar to go to Red Bull.
I
It's not
kind
been
of think we're
confirmed
all,
yet, but
I think we're all kind of going down that line that Yuki's out of that seat. And yeah, yeah, which that's a shame for Yuki's racing career. But it's that, let's be honest, that pool that they're all in is like shark infested.
yeah,
And you know,
it
it's
really
hard
is.
work.
And you got some great drivers coming through as well. I mean, absolute worst case for Hadjar, he's in the Racing Bulls next year. I saw a really funny thing actually. It was a while back now, and it said Hadjar's got to be careful because if he continues doing what he's doing, he's gonna get demoted to Red Bull.
That's probably got to be the quote, isn't it? Of ever, yeah, yeah. Oh, you don't want to get demoted to Red Bull. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a poison chalice that one, but
Yeah,
they all want it, but when they've got it, it generally doesn't go to plan. But yeah, there we go. Uh,
yeah. So yeah, it was a crazy race right from the beginning. A crazy weekend, seeing different times being set, and yeah, it was yeah. What
it
a weekend!
it really was. I mean, I've got so many notes. I'm scrolling now.
I've got so many.
I mean, even just things like, and I know this isn't the Papaya base, but Liam Lawson when he crossed the finish line, I think there was 7 cars behind him that all come through at the same time, like it was the start of the race. Never mind the end of the race. It was just, yeah, it was brilliant. There was racing throughout.
Yeah,
Um,
that mid pack were really pushing one another.
oh, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. We didn't see enough of it for my liking either on the telly, but that's another
No,
story.
yeah,
I did see today, I believe I saw it, that Oscar was actually given 2 penalty points.
yes, he was. He didn't just receive the 10-second; he also got 2 penalty points on his license as well. Yeah, he did.
That seems really harsh.
Yes, it does. Um, yeah, I think it does actually. But then when you look at what's been happening to other drivers, like Lewis has been getting some penalty points and he's getting time 10-second penalty points where you're like, where's the consistency? Because one week it's a 5, then it's a 10, now it's a 10 and 2. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't fully understand the consistency, Jimmy. I kind of expected Oscar to get a 5 or a 10-second. I did, or a drive through. I did. I expected that was coming. But to then read he got 2 penalty points on his license as well, I was a bit like, that was harsh.
I thought it was a joke when I think I saw it on one of the socials. I can't remember who
Mm,
I saw it from now. And I thought, no, this has got to be a wind up. There's no way.
yeah.
I mean, that puts him on 8 now for the season.
Yeah.
There is only 3 races left. For those that don't know, it's 12 points and you get a 1 race ban. So he's
He's
only
got to be a
4
good
off.
he's got to be a good boy because you can get 4 in one race if you're not careful.
Yeah, you can. And, the way he has to push now. because he has to
Mm,
take risks. There's no two ways about it. With the lead that
mm.
Lando's got now, he's going to have to take risks. There is a good chance he's going to get more. Unfortunately, I hope he doesn't. I really, really hope he doesn't.
Yeah, I hope not.
I've actually got Lando's quote here, which we were talking about earlier, about not quite being a big enough gap. And it was on his radio straight after the race when you would expect him to be celebrating.
Yeah.
Here's what he said, and I quote, "It's not quite a big enough gap for my liking, though. So definitely some things to look at. Let's keep going. Thanks, guys." Wow.
Well, there shows you a man on a mission. If anything ever said to you, that's a man on a mission. That's a guy that wants more power, more speed, and he wants it, doesn't he? He's got the bit between his teeth. If you've just come off a win and you're going, well, I'd like to have had a bigger buffer, you're pushing your car and your team to the limit.
It's unbelievable. I mean,
Mm,
his quote in Mexico when he got pole was, "Let's see how far I can win by," basically.
yeah,
Um, and I was like, "Do you know what? I love the confidence." And I mean, bloody hell, he got 31 by over 30 seconds. So
yeah,
wow.
yeah,
And then this one, I mean, it wasn't as impressive as Mexico, I guess, but in a way it was
yeah.
because it was a tough race. The strategies with the tires and everything else, it was not an easy race, this.
I was going to say exactly that, Jimmy. Considering he was pulling out a 10-second lead, and they'd had multiple stops with tyre changing. They were nursing tyres when they put him on the soft. It was like, well, yeah, push, but nurse at the same time. And yeah, it was. It. I was at one point. I was thinking, can he finish on those softs? Is he able to do that? Will they pull him in for another freebie? You know.
I'll be honest, I got really nervous when they brought him in for his final stop
So did
because
I.
obviously it put Max in the lead, and I thought if Max can finish the race on these tires, we could be in trouble here. Obviously they knew something we didn't, that the tire deg was going to go off a cliff at some point, which I think
Mm,
everyone sort of
yeah.
realised that. But
And I
I
also think when they said to us they've put him out on used mediums as well. I
yeah,
was like, oh no.
yeah, they were 3 or 4 laps used, I believe they said.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was worrying, that's for sure. I did think when they brought Max in, what are they doing? Um,
From pit lane to, let's be honest, from pit lane to podium, he was one we had to keep an eye out with, because from pit lane right up to podium, we could not take him out of our rear view mirror. That was what their strategies were working. They got him up the front.
and you think he had to come in early as well because he had a
Yeah,
puncture. So one of
yeah.
those pit stops he didn't even have to make. So if he didn't have to
No.
make that, just imagine then what he might have done.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, that's one of the races of all time from Max, and I have to give him his flowers because he is incredible. I know we praise him quite a bit on this podcast, and believe us, we are McLaren fans, but
100%.
we also respect when someone is incredible at what they do, and
Yeah.
Max is that guy for sure.
Yeah, and credit where credit's due. If you can come out of pit lane, okay, he did have I think it was a brand new power unit in the back of the car anyway. So he did have a
Yeah,
little bit of extra power to play with. But even still, working your way through, and we were just saying how tight that mid pack was. And they pulled that first stop off with the puncher. It was as if a puncher had to be, it was the right time because he found a gap to get back out into,
yeah,
get some free air, and he was able to then make some time up while those tyres were fresh and he wasn't overheating them, etc. So credit where credit's due.
yeah,
Podium, from pit lane, yeah, he owns that one.
yeah, 100%. Nothing but credit for him. And do you know what? Also, fair play to Kimmy for his defense on him towards the end because
Yeah.
I certainly expected Max to get past him, but Kimmy was not allowing that.
I think Kimi was using his battery perfectly. When it was going into the first DRS, you could almost feel Max was breathing down the back of his neck. And it was like, I've saved my battery. I'm going to whip through these curves. I saved my battery.
Oh dear. Yeah, incredible stuff from both of them guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Amazing skill from both of them. In the past, I think I might have been worried that Max would have took him out, just to get past. But Kimi made himself wide. He was positioning that car, and if he had have done it, he would have got a penalty because it would have had to been a really bad dive through. So Kimi just kept that car
Yeah.
right where he was. Toto must have been grinning from ear to ear, with his golden child that's coming through. He must have been like, oh, right choice, right time, because he's proved his worth already.
I mean, Bono was certainly happy, wasn't he, over the radio? I've got to admit, I think I was as happy for Bono as I was for Kimi, to be
Yeah,
fair.
I've got to say, Bono was elated, wasn't he? He was absolutely elated. So,
Let's talking of pit stops. There was a fair few of them. 2.2 McLarens, consistently 2.2s. Brilliant. You
2.2.
love to see that.
2.2s, no sticky wheel guns. Whoop.
That is what you love to see. Like I said, I was worried when Lando come in for his final stop, but I was very, very happy to see the 2.2 stop. He was gone. Let's go.
Yeah. So why are we talking about that then? We're talking about the two, the stops, and we're coming in. We did get, but is it possible to go to Plan D, Lando? Well, what happened to B and C?
Yes, I thought the same thing. Yeah. And I love
You
how he didn't really question it.
No, no.
Just
And then they said to Oscar, "Are you okay for Plan B?" And I'm like, "Huh? What's going on here? What plans are we?" But it just shows how each side of the team, each side of the garage, are driving their own car with their
absolutely.
own strategy. It just proves that they're driving their cars to their strategy with their engineers. So yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, I could never be a racing driver, not because I would forget what plan A, B, C, and D was, but one, because I can't drive either very well. Um, but imagine concentrating, going around a track at these speeds, doing everything you can, trying to keep ahead, and they're going plan D. In your head, you must be going, God, what one was that? What was plan A? What was
so
plan B?
what buttons have I got to push? Push
Yeah.
F1 to 3. No,
But to them, it's just like,
no,
yeah,
no,
okay. Like something
no.
goes off in their head, just straight away, plan D. I know exactly what that is.
It just
Um,
shows the skill, doesn't it? The skill and the dexterity that these guys have got. You watch them with when they're challenging each other with the balls and the dropping poles, trying to get the hands to work quickly. But that hand-eye coordination, those fine motor skills, that dexterity, wow.
yeah.
I have to turn the radio down when it's getting complicated to drive. Let's be honest.
Whenever you reverse park, you turn the radio down. Well, I certainly do. Turn it down a bit as well. Yeah, too many distractions. It's unbelievable. I think a lot of people maybe don't realise just what they're going through in that cockpit and the million buttons on the steering wheel that we've spoken
Yeah,
about quite a lot as well.
yeah.
It is truly
And
incredible. They're not just drivers; they're mechanics. They're
we
out there,
hear
everything.
we hear them sometimes question their engineer. Are you sure that's the right move? Sometimes some drivers tell their engineers what they want, but you look at the relationship, and we've said we'd love to grab Will. We really do need to get Will on a podcast and find out, because the relationship, the trust between driver and engineer is phenomenal.
Yeah,
Because Lando's driving blind at certain times on the track. He can't see behind him because of the mirrors, etc. What he's driving up to as well, especially when they're putting blue flags out because he's catching back markers. But that relationship, that trust between driver and engineer, because he's his eyes, he's looking on a screen that Lando got. I just think it's phenomenal. I just think it's fantastic teamwork.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's got to be a serious relationship there between certain, well,
Mm,
between the whole team, but between those two, between driver and chief mechanic, absolutely,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely. We're jumping a little bit between sprint and qualifying and race and back to sprint and so on, but
We
it
are a
is
bit,
what
aren't
it was.
we?
So many notes I've got. I keep jumping backwards and forwards and missing bits. So apologies for this one being a little bit all over the place, guys. But there is so much to talk about. Um, this really surprised me. This was Lando's first sprint pole
Yes,
all season.
yes, yes.
I
And
was
then
genuinely shocked by that.
I'd actually forgotten that he hadn't been on pole for a sprint this year. So to go from P1 to get pole and then to convert that to a win, that's fantastic as well. Because sometimes it's a poison chalice, isn't it? Let's be totally honest.
Well, it's the first time that that's been done on sprint in Brazil. The
Hmm.
first time
Yep.
someone's won a sprint race from pole position in Brazil. So I'm not
Yep.
sure how many there's been. By the way, absolutely fuming that there's not one next year. I,
Yeah.
it's the perfect track to have a sprint weekend. It's just everything about Interlagos is just perfect.
If you were going to choose a track to have a sprint race, you would be going, please, can we have it here? Because
Yeah,
it creates really great, interesting racing. It's a fast circuit, it's a twisty circuit. Yeah, it's why not? Come on, guys, why not?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, that's Lando's seventh race of the year as well,
Hmm.
which
Yeah,
is pretty good. It's better than pretty good. It's blooming amazing.
yeah.
And it's his 11th race overall. Another interesting stat. All 11 of his races have come at 11 different tracks. 11 race wins, sorry, have come at 11 different tracks.
That's
That's
it. And
unbelievable.
it's another new record, isn't it? You know, 7 wins from 7 different tracks. And you know, when we talk about Oscar being in P3 or P4, let's rewind the clock back just a few years ago. We'd have been ecstatic to have been on the second row of the grid. We would have been jumping up and down, doing cartwheels. Well, I wouldn't because the wheelchair would fall over, but the rest of you could. But you know, we'd have been having great
You
fun
don't
with
want to
it.
see me doing a cartwheel, I can promise you that. I would end up in a wheelchair, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, this podcast is sponsored by Four Wheels. Yeah, we would have been ecstatic to have been on that second row of the grid, you know. So it's just been a phenomenal weekend for the Papaya family. You know, the sprint qualifying was awesome. FP1. It was like, whoa, let's do this, you know. So, and then we head into Sunday after Saturday thinking, can we pull it off again? Will we do it again? You know?
Yeah, I am gutted for Oscar. I
Yeah.
really am. I mean, had he
Yeah.
had not got that penalty, he may well have finished. Well, I think there's no doubt he would have finished on the podium
Oh,
without
definitely. It
doubt.
would it would have
It's
been
whether,
another double podium, definitely.
yeah, it's just whether he would have been second or third. I
Yeah.
do think there's a good chance he would have come second. So it is a big blow for him.
Yeah.
And again, the penalty, it's just, I get it. I get why it's a penalty. I do. And this isn't just me with my McLaren goggles on.
No.
A lot of people, the so-called experts, have all sort of said they've asked drivers or ex-drivers if they believe it was a penalty, and not
Mm,
one
mm.
of them has said yes.
That's right. That's why I was very, very sort of hesitant when we first asked that question because I was able to replay it. That's the
Yeah.
difference. Um, but you know what? We talked about, let's go back to Max for 2 minutes. We said Max from pit lane to podium, but also Oscar. Oscar took a 10-second penalty and was still up in the major league. He had still got himself right back up there in contention. You know, it was a recovery and a half from a penalty.
It was. It really was. And I just don't know. For me, he wasn't out of control. I understand locking up technically.
Yeah,
If you've
yeah.
locked up, you are technically out of control. But the car never went. He always looked in full control of that car, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Had I've heard a lot about the rules. It's the rules that are at fault, and
Yeah,
because of the rules, it is a
yeah.
penalty. And again,
Yeah.
I understand that, and we do have to have a little bit of respect for that. But
Hmm.
a lot of people are saying, had he had not braked till a little bit later and got ever so slightly ahead of Kimi, and then braked and turned in and hit him, he wouldn't have been in the wrong because it would have been his corner to have had because he was ahead.
And and this is the problem, isn't it? We are talking millimeters.
But if he
That's what
does
we're
that,
talking.
he's not making that corner. He's
No,
going off the track.
someone's
And
going with him as well.
exactly, yeah, there's a good chance one or two are going with him.
Yeah, it was such a difficult call. He obviously wanted that corner. That restart meant everything. I'm coming for you. I'm coming through. I want this. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad for him, man. He's trying so hard. Maybe he's trying too hard. I don't know. But do you know what? Shout out to him at the end when they were all celebrating when they get the team round and they got the board with Lando
yeah,
P1 on. And he come over and he shook Lando's hand and he had
yeah,
pictures of the board and stuff. And yeah, all right,
yeah.
it's his team. He's obliged to do that. But he was still seemed fairly happy. He was happy for Lando. He's sure he's fuming inside. I'm sure he is, but
But
he's still a team player.
his body language didn't portray that, did it? He looked relaxed, and
He
that was a
did.
genuine well done, Lando moment.
Yeah,
You know, so
I
yeah,
think so. I think so.
I think we've got a great team. We know that in the background they do a lot of work with our guys. Yes, they're free to race. That proves it with the different strategies either side of the same garage. It just proves that they're okay and they are free to race.
Yeah.
As we're getting closer, as we get closer, if Lando brings out another one, will towards the end, if it's out of hands reach, maybe for Oscar, or it would be a real big reach for Oscar, will we see some protected title driving coming in? Will they play shotgun to each other? I just don't know. I don't know. It's as if they're free to race now all the way to the end. I don't know. It's a biggie.
It's an interesting point because
Yeah.
after qualifying, in fact, I was in Sainsbury's on Saturday evening. Other supermarkets are available, and I think I had something McLaren on, and the girl behind the counter said, "Oh, you're going to be watching the race tomorrow?" I said, "Of course." She said, "Who do you want to win?" I said, "Well, I want Lando to win, but I want Oscar to, be there or thereabouts." And she said, "Well, do you think Max is out of it now?" And I said, "I think so. With his qualifying, I think he probably is. He obviously the sprint
Yeah.
and the qualifying. I think he's
Yeah.
probably done now."
So did
I mean, if
I.
I had bumped into her again yesterday, we would have had a completely different conversation.
Do you know, I did actually say to wifey, I think he's out of it now. I think we're okay. And then, as I keep saying, we went from pit lane to podium. I was like, oh no.
It's such an interesting point you make. If I think if it becomes mathematically impossible for Oscar, then I think you will see him being
Shotgunning.
asked to protect Lando a little bit.
Yeah. I think
Um,
if he drops right out of it and it's Max and Lando, Oscar's out of the point system. He can't physically do it, even with DNFs. Will we see them saying, shall we play shotgun? Shall we protect what we've got
I
for the
think
team?
they would have to in that scenario. They would have to, and I think, do
I
you
think
know
we'd
what?
all expect them to, if truth be known. Either way as well.
Yeah, and do you know what? Honestly, I hand on heart believe that Oscar would be more than happy to do that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
genuinely do. People might think
yeah.
I'm mad for that. Listen, it's not over yet. Oscar could come back and still win it. We know
He
how
totally.
quickly it can turn around.
We know it can turn itself on one weekend with DNFs or crashes or anything like that. We just know that can happen. But people were saying again, is Oscar in the wrong team? There was so much hate
Oh,
going on for Lando again this weekend. Is Oscar setting himself up for the Red Bull drive? He's just signed another multi-deal contract
yeah,
with McLaren for a reason. He didn't sign it because he had no other offers. He
no.
signed it because he knows where he wants to be and he knows who his teammate is. And we don't know truly how that we see them acting the fool. We see them playing the McLaren games and doing all the cooking demos, etc., and having a good giggle. But what we don't see is behind the scenes in the office, how they're supporting each other, what they talk about. They're a good team, mates. They are a strong team.
I think you're right. I think how they come across on the camera is, and listen, we don't know for sure, but is
No,
how I honestly believe they are away from the
so do I.
cameras. I really do.
So do I.
I think you can't, like you just said then, Oscar's body language, and they were celebrating Nando's P1
Yeah,
on Sunday. You can't fake that body language. Yes, you can put on a smile, but
you can't fake body language.
you can't. You
No.
can't, mate. And it's a really tough one because, listen, I want Lando to win it this year. I've been quite open about that.
Yep.
Um, and I genuinely believe Oscar will get more chances at winning the Drivers' Championship, whether it's with McLaren in the next few years or later down the line with another team, who knows? But I genuinely believe he will be in title fights and hopefully will get one.
I'm totally with you, Jimmy. He's not going to be the bridesmaid forever. He's really not going to just be the bride. He will actually take a title or
Mm.
two. Who knows? But do I think Lando's ready for a title? I think he's been ready for long enough, and I think this season has pushed him. And even though he keeps saying, "No, I'm not really focused on it yet. There's more races to go." There's got to be part of him that's going, "Oh, this is close."
Yeah, there's also got to be a part of him that's going, blimey, why won't Max just bloody go away? Um,
And there's part of me going, I wonder how much the McLaren merch is going to cost for a number one t-shirt.
right, I'm glad you said that. I think this is a no-brainer. Does Lando, let's assume, touch wood,
Yeah, let's assume. Yeah.
Lando wins the championship. Does he put the number one on his car next year?
I don't know because
Because his
he
brand is LN4, right?
he is number four. He's always been number four. So I think maybe a little bit like Lewis. I think he might keep his number on the car because Lewis was always 44, wasn't he? He didn't put the number one on. I don't think he, I don't know. I don't think he will. I'm going to put it out there. I don't think so. No.
It's I really want him to. I think because I'm
I'd love
I'm
to see a number one on our card.
I'm an old git, right? I'm an old git, and I love that the number one is the champion. Like it's a
Yeah,
traditional thing, right, in Formula
yeah,
One.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I really hope that if he does, and I'm not getting carried away, he might not win yet, and I'm really trying to stay level. Um, but I really hope that he would. But like I said, he's got his LN4 brand. All of his merch is four and everything else. So
Hmm.
maybe you're right. Maybe I was thinking about this a lot actually since Sunday, getting a little bit carried away. He may not have even thought about it yet. He might not let them sort of thoughts get in his head. But
I would imagine he's not even allowing them faults to creep in yet because otherwise he's taking his eyes off the prize.
mm,
Will he have a number one on the helmet rather than on the car? I think we'll see a number one. I think there will be a number one. It will be represented somewhere if we get it, if we get it.
I
But
hope so.
I don't think it's going to, I just don't think it's going to be on the car for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, I don't know. It's really interesting, isn't it? Because
He does love his number four, and everybody represents him with LN4, with his bubbles. Oh, I don't know. Let's hope we find out.
do you know what? I just hope that Max is driving the 33 car next year as well. Because if he's still got that number one, I'm going to be absolutely fuming.
I'm going to go back onto this video and delete myself.
Oh dear. Do you think? Okay, then let's put this another way. If Oscar was to, let's be honest, pull off a little bit of a miracle now, not a massive
Yeah,
miracle, but it would still be. It's against the odds now.
yeah,
Do you think Oscar would take the number one?
yes.
Mm,
Without a shadow of a doubt, yes.
yeah, I'm with
He
you.
doesn't seem as protective of his brand as maybe, or is it because we've had Lando number four for so many seasons, pushing through, working hard? We've kind of got used to seeing the Lando Norris number four. You know, I don't think Oscar's, I don't know, but he doesn't seem to over publicize the 81.
No, no.
It's as if, well, that's my number because I raced it in F2, F3, whichever. But I don't know. I think he'd put the number one on. I do. I really do.
I would love Lando to do it if he does it. Either way, like you just said, I want a McLaren hat with a number one on it.
How about this one
Absolutely.
then? How about this one? Because we love papaya. We are papaya blooded through and
Mm,
through. We don't use the O word whatsoever.
nope.
But what
Unless you're
about
Perry.
what? Yeah, unless you're Perry, of course, from the other podcast, and he uses it all the time. But what about a special edition Monaco car? Yeah, I'm going to put it out there in the red and white, without the Marlboro, without obviously you can't use the Marlboro branding. What about red and white with a big red number one on it then, as a special edition Monaco car? Would you like to see that red and white one livery one more time with a number one on it? I would.
I think a lot of people would.
I would.
Um, it's a tricky one because I think a lot of people would, and I think the merch would sell unbelievably well.
I love papaya. I love the fact that we've got our roots back where it belongs. Zach basically reinvented the papaya, and it has attracted people from all over. But a one-off livery, we all went mad when we had the Golf livery. We absolutely loved the
Mm,
Golf livery that year. The Golf one came out. We all like, oh, let's keep it, please. Can we keep it? But every time we go to Monaco, I'm like, please, just one more time, have the red and white one, please.
it would be very cool. Um, I don't know. I don't know how. I'm really on the fence with it. I think it would be awesome, and it would look cool, and the merch would be amazing, and yeah, why not? But another
So this
part of
is,
me thinks, well, that was such a special time. We need to keep it
yeah.
there. I'm really
But
split.
if we get a number one, that will be a very special time as
Yeah, it
well. So,
would.
so come on then, listeners. Those of you that are listening, we asked you to put the thumbs up, give us a follow for the podcast. But now what we're asking for is a poll. Do you go with Keith or you with Jimmy? Would you like to see red and white for one more time with a number one, or are you happy to stay with papaya?
Oh, I'm so on the fence. I'm leaning towards. I think it needs to. Yeah, I don't know. We'll put a
I don't
poll
know
up.
if I
We'll
don't
put
know
a poll up.
how I don't know how if we would be legally allowed to reinvent it, because obviously we wouldn't be using the wording, we couldn't put Marlboro on it these days.
Mm,
But we do know with graphics, it could look pretty similar. But yeah, for me, it would just be a one-off red and white in that. Oh, heaven.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
The merch would go ballistic.
The merch would be phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
The work, it wouldn't touch the shelves. It would be gone off the shelves quicker than you
Yeah.
could blink.
You could
Yeah.
go really retro with it as well.
Could you imagine if we had retro caps to match and everything?
Oh,
Oh,
it would be cool. I'm all in now. What the hell? I'm all in. Let's go. They did do the sort of the white with the papaya, didn't they? Which was almost sort of it was in sort of respect
yeah,
from that, wasn't it? It was
yeah,
based on the red and white Marlboro car, but
yeah. It was in kind of in keeping. It was a modern day twist of the Marlboro car, but I don't know. There's
it
just a
wasn't the
little bit of
same.
me. No, there's a little bit of me that says turn that papaya a little bit reddish, bit more reddish.
I'm not against it. I'm not against it. I would love to see. I put it out on the socials recently. I don't know if you saw it. So next year marks the 60th anniversary of the very first McLaren Formula One race,
Mm. Hmm.
which of course Bruce McLaren drove in, and it was at Monaco, of course, and
Hmm.
it was I think it was May the 22nd, I want to say. Now next year on May 22nd is the Friday, and it's in Canada.
Hmm.
The following race is Monaco. They're going
Hmm.
to do something massive. I think for Monaco, I think they're going to do it more for the race than the date, which makes perfect sense. I get
Yeah, I
that.
think so too. It's the anniversary. It's the circuit. It always brings something special.
Yeah, I'm part of me's gutted that Monaco's not that weekend because that would
Yeah,
have just been, I
it would have
mean,
been
wow.
phenomenal for not for everybody else, but for the McLaren fans. It would
Yeah,
have felt like a proper anniversary at the proper time at the proper track. Yeah, it would have
yeah.
definitely been.
Part of me
That
is a
would have been
little
our
bit gutted
wish.
about that, but
Yeah, yeah.
I would love, and Oscar did this at Monaco this year. He changed his helmet color to put papaya in it. And by the way,
Hmm.
that helmet that Oscar wore at Monaco was phenomenal. Like it's
It
one of the
was.
nicest looking helmets I think I've ever seen. It just
Totally agree. Totally agree.
popped. It was fantastic.
Mm.
I would love to see Lando do his blob helmet, but instead of the fluoro, papaya.
Oh, now you're talking. Oh, you tease you. You
I don't know
tease.
if he'll do it. I put a post out on the socials. I've done a really terrible
Oh.
Photoshop of it, and it would just look so cool. I don't know whether
The
he would, but
papaya blob instead of the fluorescent.
yeah,
Wow, that would be,
it looked
yeah.
pretty cool, wouldn't it?
It'd look even better if it was red and white with a red and white car, but still, we won't go there.
Could go red and white blobs. That could work. Um, yeah, it'll be
We always,
interesting. I think Monaco next year is going to be a real emotional weekend actually for McLaren.
yeah.
I hope so. I really hope they. I
I
think they
hope
will. I think
I
they
think
will
we'll
do it
make a
justice.
celebration of it. I think Zach is so tuned into our history, with our even when we got our 200 wins, we made a great thing about McLaren getting 200 race wins, etc.
Yeah.
And I think that the Zach being the boss, he's not just looking for one team, he's looking after all of our teams. And I do think that history's there because he does love a classic car, he loves racing classic. So
Mm,
I don't think he'd want to let it go somehow. I tend to think he wants to keep the history of McLaren very much in the forefront and alive. Hence us going back to Papaya and having the speedy Kiwi back and things
yeah.
like this. He's really tried to make sure that our branding as we haven't lost our way. We did for a few years. We had some really weird branding for a few years. Uh,
Yeah.
but to get the speedy Kiwi back, and to get the papaya back, it's yeah. I would hope he's already probably got things in motion for that.
I hope so. And I'm sure they will. I mean, we've got an amazing branding team there, so I'm
Haven't
sure
we
they will
just?
do it justice.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's got the potential to be really quite emotional, actually, to be honest with you.
it
Um,
will, and it's a cracking anniversary. 60 years is no
yeah,
mean feat.
absolutely. Yeah, incredible, incredible stuff. While we're speaking of branding,
Mm.
those that are watching on YouTube may have noticed that myself and Keith have got new t-shirts. Papaya Pod t-shirts with our name on them, made by the amazing The Tea Shop, which is on
There
the
they
arm
are.
as well.
Yeah,
And we put a little we decided to put another logo on the other arm. which I don't know if you'll be able to see from there. I'll share a picture of it. It's emmacapenerart.com. And it's just a little thank you to Emma and Andrew, who are awesome. Emma is incredible. For those that listen regularly, they'll hear me talk about her a lot. She did that amazing print behind me of Bruce McLaren.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's truly incredible. I know Keith's got some of her stuff, including the James Hunt print as well, which
I have, yeah,
it
I
looks
have.
like a photograph. It's honestly incredible. So it's just a little thank you to Emma putting her on there as well. And go to the website emmacapenerart.com. Have a look for her stuff. It's incredible. And you can get 20% off anything on there, any of the prints there, by using code Papaya. So go and
Yeah.
check it out. It's
And
amazing.
with the tea shop, Jimmy, I've pretty much got a sponsored wardrobe, as you know, because I do love their garments. So big shout out to the tea shop. If you haven't seen them, if you saw the version, the Brazilian version of the dog of Roscoe, that the tea shop did, they did a really cracking version of Roscoe in the greens and the yellows. It was a phenomenal t-shirt, and they also do our favourite drinking mugs. So if you want to have a cup of tea with Lando, hey, sounds like we're sponsored. We're pushing this, doesn't it? But I just think these people, Jimmy, that you and I have had the awesome opportunity to chat with, to share ideas with. They've designed t-shirts for us for it. So it just shows you how big our racing family is and how many people are tuned in to what it is that we all love
Yeah.
in the background. And it's great to be able to buy other than official merch. It's nice to be able to mix up your t-shirt brand and have a bit of a wardrobe. So,
Well, we've had quite a few messages the past week or so since, in fact, the last few days actually, since you posted about these teas, and quite a few people out there would like them. So it's something we might look
oh,
in. We're going to look
oh,
into and try. But there's a bit of a logistical issue because we got there's people in Australia and in the Netherlands and etc. So we're going to figure it out somehow. I'll figure it out and we'll do
we can do this, can't we?
we'll make it work. We'll make it work. But yeah, shout out to the guys at the tea shop for hooking us up. Amazing stuff. Genuinely really happy with them. So thank you guys. Yeah, I mean, have we got through everything? Probably not, Keith, to be honest, but
Well, you and I, we could talk forever. We really could, and people would switch off and go to sleep by the time we finished. But no, I think what we did is we've raced up a fantastic race. We really have. We've raced through all of it because it was a race and a half this weekend. No pun intended. It was phenomenal. We saw Lewis losing his front wing. We saw a change of a front wing. We saw crazy dives to the inside by Ollie Behrman. We saw Lando at 1.2.264 seconds only ahead as he started to pull away and control the pace. How much more can we say? And they went to Plan D.
yeah, I still don't know what B or C was, but even A for that matter.
Yeah,
Um,
just
yeah, I
don't
do
know.
apologise, guys. This one ha has been a little bit all over the place. It was my fault. I was jumping from all sorts, so I do
No,
apologise for that. I'll get better at that. But yeah, there's just a lot going on.
we'll get a system started, but we're there. We're there. We've got
We're
this.
still learning. Well, I certainly am. Anyway,
I'm definitely still
you're
learning.
smashing it, Keith. I'm still learning.
No, it's fantastic to be able to do our race review without fear because we're a papaya pod, without fear of someone saying, "Oh, you're biased." Yes, you're absolutely right. We are because it's a papaya pod. We are biased. It's our team. We
Absolutely,
love them. Um,
absolutely.
and you can tell, Jimmy, with our passion as we talk about it. And we were still saying about the other drivers. We were still saying it wasn't just our two drivers that were making fantastic moves and fantastic efforts. We saw some great driving this weekend,
Yeah.
which just enhanced what we can share with everyone.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you want less biased race reviews, go and check out the Motorsport review with Perry because that's awesome. I'm genuinely a big fan of
It,
Perry, a
it
lovely
is, and
guy,
it's
and he
definitely
does a
not
great job.
biased. And he's definitely
No,
not
he's not
biased.
biased. In fact, he tries extra hard to not be biased, actually. And sometimes I really feel sorry for him, especially this season when it's been Lando and Oscar throughout, and he's still trying to hold back. So yeah, shout out Perry.
Yeah, and
Does an
he's
amazing
also
job.
when I've jumped on with Perry occasionally and been a guest, he'll say, and Keith is but absolutely biased for papaya.
Well, that's what this pod's all about. It's about being biased to Papaya, right?
It is, yeah.
So yeah. Guys, again, enjoyed this so much. Hope you have too. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. This has been the Papaya Pod race review with Jimmy and Keith. I've been Jimmy. That's been Keith, and until next time.
Never stop racing.